Hi scrappy friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the Clique Kits Pep Rally, so that is the day when a whole bunch of the design team members and other Clique Kit members share what they've been working on with their kit. So I'm using the July kit, and this is probably going to be one of the last few layouts that I make. I'll share the other layouts that I've done this month too later, so I'm going to be using that sketch a little bit. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun to make it look like, I'm going to use that photo of that ship. It's kind of hard to see. It's up at the top. So the way that on this sketch, the way that there's different layers and crisscrosses of the paper. So I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if it looked like this water was moving and the boat was on the water, you know. So sometimes I get these fun ideas and I don't know if it worked exactly the way I wanted it to, but I should have just layered it up, I think, maybe, and had each layer be a little bit higher or something, but whatever. It looks okay. So I just tried to like angle some of the pieces a little bit differently to make it not all entirely look samey, and that's not really a word. I didn't want each layer that I put to look the same. So, and eventually I think I'm gonna flip some of them too. But so I did some on pop dots and some not, because I want there to be a little bit of dimension and stuff. So I do end up having like some space in between, and so I'm gonna try, hopefully, right, my intention was to just kind of maybe put some journaling there or put something there where that big section is, so it doesn't look really awkward, even though at this point I'm not really worried about it. So I'm just kind of figuring out how I want to do this. How do I want it? Like, when do I want to start changing? Because I was thinking, like, I don't mind the loops being up, but I was kind of thinking it looked better if it looked more like crashing waves, and the loops don't look as crashing as if the points are, if that makes sense. So when the points are hitting are up towards the top, it looks more like that. So eventually I decided, I should just put this like this. I should have maybe did it like that all from the beginning, and I could have taken it apart, but I don't know. It's kind of hard when you start adding pop dots to take things off. So, and I was trying to stick with the sketch. I mean, maybe if I hadn't been trying to use the sketch so much, maybe I could have just put stuff at the bottom and it would have kind of still seemed like it. I don't know. It doesn't look so bad when you look at the final picture, but I feel like at this point it has that, oh my god, what was I thinking? Like, this looks a little weird. Don't you love that? How that happens, right? These are how masterpieces are made. You have those, oh my god, this is weird. But it does, like I said, it does end up working out. And I did put some stuff over top, and you'll see that in a minute. But yeah, so I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to put the pop dots, because I put them in a few different places. I'm just gonna, so I wasn't sure if I was going to use just a piece of the wood from the other side of that paper or not. So one thing in the photo is there's a picture in the middle, but there's also some other elements like on the page, kind of like design wise. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be kind of cool if I made it look like there was a sail? So I I punched a hole at the bottom and the top, and I took this bamboo skewer for like s'mores and I just put it in, I poked it, I tried to get it as far down as I could, and some of it's sticking up at the top. I could cut it, I don't know, but so I thought that would be kind of cool. And so the bottom edge, I just used the ATG, and then on the top part, so the other side, to make it look like it's kind of moving a little bit, and I added a pop dot too. So I'm going to be putting this photo, I'm not really sure if I'm going to stick it on where the sail is or if I'm going to stick it down at the bottom. But then I decided to add a little bit of yellow because that paper that I made the sail had some splatters of yellow on it. So I thought it would be kind of nice to like bring that and maybe almost have it look like, you know, the ocean, and then you get up to the sun. I actually thought about putting a sun die cut because I think I had one of the die cuts, but it was a little too kiddish. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't have mattered really, but I didn't feel like it worked that well because, well, it definitely wasn't sunny the day I took this photo. And actually the colors were a little bit darker in this photo because of it was cloudy, but that's okay. So that was one of the things that I liked about this kit, is that I could pull out some of my pictures that I had that I haven't scrapped, that I've been wanting to scrap, that worked a little bit better with this the ocean or theme, and this was one of them. So this was a picture that when my parents came a couple years ago for Christmas, and we went to Paulsbo, Washington, which is a Viking town. So they have tons of these cool like murals, and buildings are painted different colors. It's really colorful, and there's tons of like pieces and elements that make this town like awesome. So this was one of the murals that was gorgeous. It was so hard to get a really good picture of this, but it was really fun. So this is one of the elements that I put down over where some of those papers are really colliding, and so it didn't end up being a journaling piece. I kind of thought about adding a piece there for journaling, and I know it's not exactly like centered and whatnot, and now you can't really see that I did it in different, now it just looks weird in some ways, because you can't really see that I did it in different directions, but I don't really know if you need that. So also I had still some of these little bits of waves, just the plain waves, and some of the fish. So I think there was supposed to be another fish that so it would say swim, but I couldn't find it. So and I also thought, I also decided to use those Marco Polo pieces, even though I know Marco Polo has nothing to do with the Vikings. I just thought it would be kind of, I don't know, I liked the color aspect of it. And so this is one of those times where I say, you know what, I know it doesn't really match, like, it doesn't really go with it, but I wanted to add some of that pink, and because the sail in the photo is like a white and red, but it matched that pink and red stripe. So I did add a little bit of that in my layering, and I just added a few of the papers, and I let some of them kind of hang, and that's where they met down at the bottom. So I did decide to use a chipboard tag, since this was like an activity that we did. And so this is part of the layering, and it adds a little bit of blue up there. So I really kept it really simple. I mean, we're at the end of the month. There's not as much stuff in my kit. So, you know, just making sure I did save a couple of the elements because I knew I wanted to use some of those the hard pieces. I got some boats and the anchor, and so I knew I wanted to use that boat and like the anchor on this, so I did save those. But I had one of the acetate pieces, the Good Life. So now I'm just going to add a couple of these stars, and I tried to add a few of the different colors that we had. I mean, I don't know, just something to add so it didn't look so lonely. That is one of the hard parts for me, is when we get to some months, when we get to the end of the month, I feel like there's not as much. But so I'm going to put the title down here. That's where it was in the sketch. And so my sketch isn't, or my layout isn't completely the sketch, but I think that it worked out really well. It kind of was a fun place to start, you know. And it got me using my papers in maybe a little bit of a different way, cutting them apart. I think that's kind of fun to do those kinds of things. So it's just going to say Viking mural, nothing super complicated. And I'll put a little bit of journaling underneath the This Is Life piece. Definitely make sure you go over to Clique Kits and check out their, the post that shows all of the new stuff for the new coming kit for August. It's awesome and beautiful. So check out all of the rest of the other ladies who have posted things today for the Pep Rally. And definitely share the stuff that you've created with your kit this month. Just tag Clique Kits, and we'll make sure that we see it today. So thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye.